Welcome back to page 121. Today we're going to take a look at your worst nightmare. A nightmare. My Little Pony from hell. So there you go. A nightmare. Number appearing as 1. They're very rare. Armor class -4. In the early days, that was almost completely unhittable. 15-inch run, 36-inch fly, 6+6 hit dice, which means they attack a 7 hit dice monster. Number of attacks is 3. Damage is 2 to 8, 4 to 10, and 4 to 10. Special attacks are nil. Special defenses, see below. Magic resistance standard, high intelligence, neutral evil, and they're large. So pretty formidable all by their lonesome. Also known as demon horses and hell horses, nightmares are creatures from the lower planes. They are ridden primarily by the more powerful demons and devils, as well as by night hags. On occasion, they serve as steeds for undead, such as specters, vampires, and liches. The nightmare attacks with great fangs as well as burning hooves. The fangs do the 2 to 8, and the hooves do the 4 to 10. These creatures breathe out a smoking hot cloud during combat, and it obscures vision by blinding the eyes and choking its opponent. Unless the saving throw is made by the opponent, the opponent attacks at -2 attack and damage. Nightmares can fly, become ethereal, and roam the astral plane. They hate material life and attack viciously, even without a rider to command them. And then the description is a hell horse is a gaunt and skeletal with huge head, glowing red eyes, flaming orange nostrils, and hooves which burn like embers. The coat is dead black, and the creature's mane and tail are wild and rugged. So pretty formidable all by itself. This is going to give a 7th, 8th level group some pause. But then when you think about having some kind of demon or devil on its back, or specter, vampire, or a lich, this creature gets pretty dangerous pretty quick. I have used the nightmare as a steed for hags. I've used it for liches and vampires. Very, very difficult encounter for your players, because the nightmare itself is causing lots of damage, and so is the person riding it, the creature riding it. You can end up with a situation where you have to split your attacks, decide who you want to attack to survive the encounter. The problem is this guy has a high intelligence. So if we have a situation where the rider is attacking and dismounts, the nightmare doesn't need to be told what to do or trained in any way. It can just do what it needs to do. It has a high intelligence. Doesn't say anything about how they communicate. I kind of had never really addressed it, so I would say they understand commands. Maybe you would have to speak some kind of infernal language or something, and it would depend on the writer as to whether they understood common or not. But nightmares can be great, because while the person you're fighting is riding on its back, this thing can just shift into the ethereal plane whenever it wants, which means that the rider and the steed can be very hard to pin down and do anything about. So that can be a lot of fun too. So just something for you to remember for using this as an encounter, that it is not just a dumb horse. It is a dangerous creature all by itself. In fact, in one of my Walpurgis games, I not only did a bunch of nightmares in one of the encounters, but I actually did a stampede of nightmares. That became a lot of fun, because I gave the flaming hoof damage at 4 to 10, 4 to 10 as these things ran. And rather than do any type of to hit, I just basically threw an 8-sider, and that's how many hooves the person in front of the stampede was hit by. So that ended up being some pretty significant damage very, very fast. You got 4 to 10 hit points coming your way. And, oh, by the way, you're going to be hit up to 8 times. That can really add up. But again, that was a Walpurgis encounter. In my standard game, I have used them as mounts, mostly for hags. I tend to use these guys for hags, although I have done a lich and I've done a vampire. That was a lot of fun too, because the players didn't really realize it was a vampire, because he was riding what appeared at the moment to be a horse, and then the illusion that was covering the two dropped, and they realized they were fighting a nightmare and a vampire. And you can do the same thing with a lich. The lich can just make himself look like a guy on a horse, and then when the attack happens, surprise, it's a lich on a nightmare, and that can be a real nightmare for your players. But that's all I've got today on page 121. Just a quick look at a really fun monster with a ton of uses. He can partner with a bunch of different creatures, not necessarily be subordinate to them, although I imagine the occasional demon or devil or even lich can make it do what it wants. But the nightmare is very intelligent, high intelligence, and can be a nightmare on its own. But that's all I've got today on page 121. Thanks for watching. Please leave comments below, like and subscribe. Tell your friends if you enjoyed the video. Also take a look at the Patreon, see if you can help me out there. And I'll see you next time on page 121.